Welcome to the number one podcast on the infinite frequency. Sorry, the music's carrying on along there. Welcome. How is everybody? I hope you are all well. What a beautiful day I've been having. As you can hear, we've managed to sort out all of the problems in the studio. It took Marnie and myself quite a few hours. And we was able to do it without getting stressed and without panicking too much. And I really, really am just so happy it's back on. So, first of all, welcome again. I am L.E.O. Lothbrook. I host this channel, and it is on recovery, spirituality, and mental well-being. Today, I've got a special topic for you. I'm going to talk about a Californian spiritual leader from the past. And the reason I'm doing that is because obviously we have a wide audience around the world. So first of all, I do want to just go through and just welcome everybody that is here, everybody that is listening, and just to give you a very quick rundown on all of the countries that or some of the countries that we are being listened to in, because we are we are global now. Do you know what? In fact, I will run through every single country because you are all part of this journey. You are all part of this tribe, this ever-growing movement, and it is phenomenal. I cannot believe how wide our audience is. So, let's just say hello to everybody out there. These are the countries, and I'm going to run through them as quickly as I can. We have the United Kingdom, United States, France, Germany, Singapore, Canada, Spain, Ireland, Poland, Australia, Russia, Greece, India, Italy, Belgium, Ecuador, Nigeria, Romania, Austria, Barbados, Bangladesh, Brazil, Chile, Czech Republic, Finland, Indonesia, Japan, Kenya, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, Morocco, Netherlands, Philippines, Pakistan, Portugal, Paraguay, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Slovakia, and Vietnam. Oh my God, how incredible is that? That is how far our reach has got. That is how far the message is spreading. And that is how big our tribe is. We have a global tribe. This spirituality journey affects everybody. The journey of recovery is spread across the world, as you can see. And what's beautiful about all of this is it's not me. It's not about me. It's not about my clout. It's not about my personal success. I am just blessed that I've come onto a journey of recovery that's led me into a life of spirituality and exploration. And I'm blessed that my understanding of my higher powers, which is the old gods, are not only have they revealed some gifts I never knew I had before, which is, the voice and the articulation and being able to digest information and then regurgitate in a way that we can all understand. But they've given me those gifts and talents so that they can use me as a vessel to get the message across the world, to spread the joy, to give people the option to explore spirituality and a different aspect of life. And I'm not, I'm not naive. This is not me. It's the message that people are coming to listen to. And that, for me, is absolutely incredible to be able to be used by my higher powers to continue to do their work on a daily basis. And yes, sometimes they throw curveballs at me, like this morning when all of my equipment failed for absolutely apparently no reason. And so what did I do? Did I throw my toys out the pram? Did I get the No, it did. It did annoy me. And I was pretty frustrated is the word I would use. But when things like that happen, I then look for the lessons and the reason. Why is it that this is happening? What is it it's trying to teach me? And it's just testing me because obviously where I'm doing live shows and I'm doing recorded shows and I'm using lots of different equipment, I think it's a way of testing how quickly I can adapt, how quickly can I adjust, do I get flustered, am I able to still pursue my goals, and that is to make sure their message comes across. And if I'm spiritually fit and on the correct path, then as today shows, I find it manageable, doable, and at times enjoyable. Not during the process necessarily, but definitely afterwards. Like sitting here listening to all the sound now and knowing how far it's reaching. Oh, I do apologise, reaching around the world. It's just such a wonderful feeling. So before we get into the nitty-gritty of today's show, I first of all want to say good morning and welcome and hello around the globe, wherever you're listening in. I start my mornings with gratitude. I try and start my day with an attitude of gratitude. And I know some of you out there listening are having an incredibly difficult time. And some of you may be thinking or even saying out loud, look, mate, I've got nothing to be grateful for. What on earth are you on about? Well, I would beg to differ, because what I learned was when I was, I've only been in my place a couple of months, so I do have an awful lot more to be grateful for than ever before. But even when I was out there on the road, as we say, living on the streets, hostels, temporary accommodations, whatever it was I could get at the time, I learned a process of waking up and finding things I could be grateful for. Now, you might say, well, how can you be grateful if you was homeless? Well, I'd be grateful for the dry pair of socks I woke up in, or that I wasn't cold, or that I managed to find somewhere that was dry, safe, and those things, by finding the little things in life to be grateful for, it would change my outlook upon the rest of the day. I wouldn't go into the day with necessarily such a negative attitude. I'd be grateful already. So, and I find when I navigated the outside world with gratitude, it was a lot more receptive towards me, and I would find the days easier or more manageable. I don't know if easier is the right word, but more manageable. So, it can be anything. Have a look. And even if you guys are saying, oh, well, I've got absolutely nothing. Well, if you're listening to this message now and it's helping you and it's resonating with you, then right there, that's something in itself to be thankful for and grateful for. I, for one, am absolutely grateful that every single one of you is listening. I can't believe how far our reach has gone. Those countries are incredible. I've even got a huge fan base out in America. That's awesome. The messages over there. One of the states I was always keen to connect with was California. But you've got, it's Ohio, Georgia, Texas, Carolina, Virginia, Connecticut, India, loads. And it's awesome, like I say, to be able to see and know how far and wide the reach goes, and what a beautiful experience. So yes, I do have an awful lot to be grateful for, absolutely, more than most. But there was a time when I didn't have much to be grateful for, and yet I still managed to find the magic. And the magic you're looking for is in the work that you're not doing. I remember hearing that phrase for the first time, and it hit home hard, because I wanted all of the good things. I wanted to be grateful. I wanted a happy, easy life, which, by the way, it doesn't get easier, and there's no such thing as a happy life. There is just life. It's a roller coaster. It's ups, it's downs, it's lefts, it's rights, it's twists, it's turns, it's everything. So yeah, just maybe start practicing that. Write some things down. I only started, in the beginning, I started to try and find one thing I was grateful for. I'd do that for a week, then 2 for a week, then 3, then 4, and so on. And today, I do get up and I just list things I'm grateful for. There's no longer a set number. It's whatever's sitting on my heart. It's whatever I feel at that moment. And I find that, as I say, that absolutely changes my perspective for the rest of the day. So before we get on to the next part, I am going to play some music. Again, it's an instrumental by an artist called Kevin MacLeod. All he asks is that you attribute him with the work and the music. It comes from his royalty-free collection, huge library he's got on YouTube and many other forms as well, I believe. And without his work, you know, I wouldn't be able to have these little stopgaps. And in that space, it gives me a chance to go grab a coffee, grab a bite to eat maybe, or even as I'm about to do, and that's sit down with Marnie Moo and just have a little cuddle, because she's woken up and she's come into the studio and she's looking at me, smiling, wagging her tail. So I'm going to stick some music on for you. Sit back, relax, and hopefully you enjoy the music, and I will be back with you in 2 jiffies. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that little musical interlude. As I say, that's Kevin MacLeod's Christmassy musical collection, available on YouTube. It's all royalty free, and he just asks you to accredit him with the work. So awesome. So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, because I've had a massive influx in listeners over in the States, in California, which is a very spiritual state, and I started to look through some spiritual leaders from the past, and I came across with somebody that, for me, he resonates with who I am, and definitely has a strong, he's got a strong resonance for me. So let's have a look. So who am I on about? I'm on about Paramahansa Yogananda. I hope I'm saying that right. The yogi who brought the East to the West. He was born in January the 5th, 1893, in India. He sadly passed away on March the 7th, 1952, in Los Angeles, California. His full title, which is Paramahansa, means Supreme Swan, a title of spiritual mastery in the Hindu tradition. In early life and spiritual awakening, from the early age of about 8, he showed signs of deep spiritual sensitivity. He spoke of seeing visions, saints and lights and holy men, around holy men, His family was well educated, and part of India's professional class. But his heart was never in worldly success. He went on, he became a disciple of Swami Sri Yatiswar, a stern but loving teacher who trained him in yoga, meditation, and higher consciousness. His mission was clear, and it was clear early on, to bring the ancient science of self-realization into the modern world. His journey to the West. In 1920, Yogananda sailed from India to Boston to speak at an international religious conference. He arrived with one goal and one goal only: to show that spirituality and science could actually coexist, and that God could be known directly through experience, not through dogma. He founded the Self-Realization Fellowship, SRF, in 1920, in which he shared his teachings in English. His message was simple: you are not merely flesh, you are divine consciousness itself. By the mid-1920s, his lectures drew thousands, absolutely thousands, in auditoriums from New York to San Francisco. In 1925, he settled in Los Angeles, calling it the spiritual heart of the West. There, he built the Mother Center, which still stands today above Sunset Boulevard, serene gardens overlooking the Pacific, a haven for meditation and for peace. His teachings, called Kriya Yoga, wasn't a religion, but a method, a way to quiet the mind and to awaken the inner self. He taught to be calmly active and actively calm. I'll say that again: to be calmly active and actively calm. You see, meditation is not escape. It's actually mastery of life. All religions are rivers flowing into the same ocean of truth. The goal of life is self-realization, to know your soul and to unite with the infinite. He translated Eastern mysticism into modern psychology. The soul loves to meditate, for in contact with the spirit lies the greatest of joys. An environment. Environment is stronger than willpower. So if you create the right environment and watch, you will grow, and your will become strong. He had a profound impact on America. He was one of the first spiritual teachers to speak about energy, vibration, and frequency. Ideas that resonate even more today. and it's seen a surge in the community grow. Yogananda's students included artists, scientists, and even some of Hollywood's early icons. He shaped a generation's understanding of yoga as a way of life, not merely an exercise or a trend. In 1946, he released his autobiography of Yogi. It became a spiritual classic, a book that inspired everyone from George Harrison to Steve Jobs. It's still in print today, and it's translated into more than 50 languages. His final years and passing. In 1952, after decades of service, he gave a speech at a banquet in Los Angeles honoring India's ambassador. He ended his talk with these words: "Where Ganges, woods, Himalayan caves, and men dream God, I am hollowed, my body touched that sod." Moments later, he gently collapsed, entering Mahasamadhi, a yogi's conscious exit from the body. Doctors noted that there was no physical cause. He simply said those words and stopped breathing, peacefully. His body showed no signs of decay for weeks afterwards, something that mystified observers and devotees alike. And as such, the legacy in California and beyond. Today, his presence still lingers across California, from the SRF Lake Shrine in Pacific Palisades to the Mother Center in Mount Washington. People visit to meditate, to reflect, and reconnect with something timeless. He bridged East and West not through argument, but through presence, through living proof that spirituality is universal. This was a man who was beyond nationality. He was beyond creed. A man who came from halfway across the world to remind America and California that diversity isn't somewhere in the clouds. That divinity isn't somewhere in the clouds. It's right here, breathing through you, through us. So that is the philosopher that I wanted to talk about today. He's having quite a profound impact on my life. I am going to get the book myself. I would love to read it. I really enjoy looking at these leaders and seeing how they have affected the narrative and society as well. It was only upon further investigation that I learned that his work still stands today and it's still in print, which I think is incredible. And he, I'm sure, would be really pleased to know that his work lives on, even if his name is fading. And that's something I've learned, is that names tend to fade into the background. But words, wisdom, if you like, can surpass the memory of the name. And for me, that's important. You know, I hope that one day my work is lived on. My name, I have no issue if it disappears into the ether, because it's not about personal success. It's not about personal gain. It's just about raising awareness about a different way of life and trying to help people understand how to get there. And again, I don't think spirituality is a destination. It's not, even enlightenment. I don't think I will ever wake up one day and go, wicked, I'm fully enlightened. It's a journey that I want to carry on walking for the rest of my life. I absolutely am blessed that I get to do this. I get to research these things, and I get to come into my studio and then put it together in a way that hopefully you will enjoy. So if this resonated with you, this subject, please let me know. Please put it in the comments. Whatever platform you're listening to on, please do leave me some reviews. Because that does a couple of things. It helps me understand the content that people really like, and it also gives the platforms a chance to push us further so we can have a further and bigger reach. And obviously, even though I've listed all those countries, I would love to continue to grow and get it as far as possible. And this is something that we're growing together. It's nothing to do with me. It's not my personal gain. It's not my personal drive, if you like. It's you guys that are going to drive this. It's you that have the ability to make our tribe grow and to get the message out further. And if there are any spiritual leaders or any names from the history that you would like me to look into and do a deep dive on, I absolutely will have no issue doing that. If there's any you want me to go back over, please just ask, and I will be happy to do that. So with that being said, I'm going to just put some more music on. I'm going to take another quick break, and then I just have a little reflection that I will read afterwards, and I will leave you to think about that until the next show. Don't forget, I do go live on TikTok every single night at 9 o'clock as well, and that's more of a it's more off the cuff. I don't have a set script, if you like. I don't have a set way I'm going to do it. All I do is ask people to be respectful and kind and courteous to each other. Everybody is welcome, and I do try to stick to spirituality, mental wellness, and recovery, because that's what I'm trying to do, is share my experience, strength and hope, help the people that need to recover, and continue on the spiritual journey, and hopefully connect with other people on the same journey. And because I suffer with with some mental health issues, that's another one why I like to do the mental wellness stuff as well, because I thought I've got things that have worked for me that I didn't know about, and I would just like to give back and give freely what was given to me to you guys, so you can decide whichever what you want to use and what you don't. So once again, just sit back right there, enjoy the music, and I shall be back after the music. So, I hope you've been enjoying the show so far. What I'm going to do now is I've put together a reflection based on today's topic. I'm going to read it twice, and then I'm going to let you sit with it, and I will approach it again in the next episode. And it's just to give you some time to consider and to ponder over what we've spoken about today. So I'm going to read it now, and then I will read it I'll read it twice, and then we'll go from there. So, the reflection is the quiet within. In the noise of the world, we chase miracles as if they're lost in the stars. But the miracle has always been breath, heartbeat, and awareness. The quiet watcher behind our thoughts. Yogananda came halfway across the world to remind us of something ancient. That heaven isn't waiting beyond depth. It's hiding behind distraction. That when the mind stills, the soul speaks. We don't need to climb mountains or cross oceans to find truth. We only need to remember what we already are: energy, consciousness, the divine spark that never fades. So tonight, before the noise of tomorrow begins, take a breath. Sit, breathe. Feel that silence that hums beneath the chaos. That's where you meet the real you. Not the one the world names or shames, but the one that's eternal, unchanging and free. So until next time, stay awake, stay grounded, and keep walking the road to self-realization. I'm going to read that reflection one more time for you, and then we will start to close the show out. The quiet within. In the noise of the world, we chase miracles as if they were lost in the stars. But the miracle has always been breath, heartbeat, and awareness. The quiet watcher behind our thoughts. Yogananda came halfway across the world to remind us of something ancient. That heaven isn't waiting beyond. It's hiding behind distraction. That when the mind is still, the soul speaks. We don't need to climb mountains or cross oceans to find truth. We only need to remember what we already are: energy, consciousness, the divine spark that never fades. So tonight, before the noise of tomorrow begins, take a moment, sit, breathe, and feel that silence that hums beneath the chaos. Because that's where you'll meet the real you. Not the one that the world names and shames, but the one that's eternal, unchanging, and free. I hope you enjoyed the show today, and I hope that it resonates with you, and I hope the reflection gives you some time to ponder and think about it. What I will do once, I'm going to leave this one up for a day, and then I do have a 2-part episode on silence. I did a 7-day silent retreat where I went into myself. I didn't have any distractions, no phone, no conversation, nobody around, no nothing. And I found some wonderful, wonderful answers in that, and it's given that process gave me a great understanding of how silence truly speaks to us, and that actually there is no silence. Silence is an illusion. So until next time, stay awake, stay grounded, and keep walking the road of self-realization. And remember, you're not alone anymore. We walk this road together. And if you do or are struggling and you want to reach out, please do, because I will try and reach out back. Don't be alone. Pick up the phone, find a tribe. Get used to speaking out. Get used to asking for help, because it's better to learn now when you don't need it than it is to try and learn when you do need it. Once again, I can't thank you enough for joining me on the number one podcast, Infinite Frequency. Please, please, please do like, share, subscribe. Please follow me as well. If you're listening on Podbean especially, please, 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 please hit that follow button. That is so, so important. It really helps Podbean to see how we're growing and the places we're in. But also it gives me an opportunity to know where my audience is at, and it means that I am able to tailor my some of my research to those locations, which is awesome. So I hope you've enjoyed the show today. Like I say, thank you so much for being with me, my day walkers, my creatures of the night, my warriors and my wanderers, and everybody else in between. I can't thank you enough for listening. I hope you're all having a good day. I will play some music. I'll put another Christmas tuning on, and then I shall be leaving the studio just for this morning. So thank you again for listening. Wherever you are globally, it's blowing my mind. So thank you very much, guys. Kick back, sit back, enjoy the music. And don't forget, if you need more shows, I do have an extensive back catalogue with over 250 episodes that you can sit down and binge on, and that will help you get through some of your darker times. So thank you again for listening. I hope you enjoyed the show. I am L.E.O. Lothbrook, and this was the number one podcast on the Infinite Frequency. Thank you again for listening and tuning in and joining us here on the channel. I thank you all for listening, and I just remember I love each and every single one of you. I could not be here without you, although I would continue, because it is about the message and not about my personal clout, fame or anything like that. And remember, there are people out there struggling, and this is a time of joy and it's supposed to be celebration, but there are people that aren't so fortunate. So please take a moment to think about them. And if you do see anybody out there struggling, looking like they need a hand, then please try and just give them a smile to start with, because that can be enough to change somebody's day. Thank you again very much for listening. I am, as always, L.E.O. Lothbrook, and Marnie Moo is my companion, and she has been helping me along today. And so I'm just going to love you and leave you to go and have a beautiful day. Thank you once again for joining us on the number one podcast, The Infinite Frequency.